My husband asked me to choose between open marriage or nothing. Now, he's livid that I filed for divorce immediately. We got a not-so-classic shotgun wedding to give ourselves better chances of receiving custody of his half-sister when their mom suddenly passed away. Despite only being 20 and 21 years old, we did receive full legal custody over her absent father. This information sets the tone of our relationship with the sacrifices we made together and the things we each had to give up personally to raise this beautiful little girl. Years later, we still haven't had any children together. His sister is now 17 and moved in with an older, more financially privileged aunt last year. Over the past year of this newfound alone time, I feel like we have flourished with each other personally and as a couple. We never fight, arguments are rare, and we are pretty good at coming to an understanding or apologizing when necessary. I feel we had a pretty healthy relationship. I receive flowers no less than 10 times yearly, and we go on little vacations together. We have been happy for the past few months. I guess a bit of the spark sputtered out for a while, but I feel that's normal for a relationship as long as ours. My husband seems like he has been depressed because of the timing of losing both his mom and dad in the same year. It's October, and the holidays are coming. I know it's tough for him, so I get it and try to be there. He had previously planned a suicide attempt because of family issues before we met, so I take his mental health very seriously. But one day, he sat me down for a serious conversation and started by saying he wanted to open up our relationship. My heart dropped, but I stayed silent and let him talk. He doesn't go into why. He just jumps right into rules and explains how he wants me to find someone before he starts looking for someone. When I asked him why, he couldn't explain it and fumbled his words. I asked him if he already had someone in mind, for himself, and of course, he denied it. I couldn't help it. I blew up. This proposal blindsided me. I slept on the couch after my outburst, and he didn't even try to come after me to explain anything, which kind of made me feel worse. I had never felt so unwanted in my life than in that moment. I have never thought I was the kind of girl to be open to that relationship. I will never judge anyone for wanting to live that life, but it's not for me. He went to work the next day, but I had the day off and thought about my situation. After crying for hours, I realized that this was the end of our marriage. Even suggesting an open marriage was a deal breaker for me. While he was still at work, I moved all his stuff out of our bedroom into his sister's old room. Technically, it's a spare room now. When he came home from work, he insisted we discuss his proposal. After discussing more about why he wants this, I've realized several things. He is way kinkier than he lets on and is disappointed with our bedroom life. He knows I'm not on the same level and doesn't want to push me past my boundaries to try things he knows I won't like. When I asked how he knows I won't like to try these new things, he explained they are an escalation of things he already knows I'm not down for but won't go into specifics. He also is unhappy with how infrequently we have intimacy but has never really put an effort to change anything regarding it. I just complained repeatedly and expected me to be ready to do the deed any minute of the day. And because we got married so young, there are a lot of things neither of us got to experience or try, mostly intimately. He is mourning the loss of his young 20s and never getting to sleep around to explore his kinks. Part of the rules he explained was that we wouldn't technically be sleeping around with whoever we wanted. He called it an open marriage but described it more as polyamory. We would each have a boyfriend or girlfriend with whom we go on dates and do things together. Someone we were each allowed to love and be with sexually. An emotional connection was pivotal for him, breaking my heart. During our talk, I told him I would never be able to look at him the same. I would never be enough for him, and he was trying to get a pass for guilt-free cheating in my eyes. I told him it sounded like he wanted to be with someone else without ever leaving the comfort of his marriage, knowing he could date around and not worry if those relationships would fail because he could just come home to me. He tried denying these things, saying he wanted to explore himself intimately but didn't want to lose me in the process. He tried getting me to agree to marriage counseling to talk about the open marriage concept. I told him that just proposing an open marriage was grounds for divorce for me, and I wasn't willing to go to a counselor for them to gang up on me or bully me into trying it. In reality, that never would have happened, but emotions were high. Because I told him I could never see him the same and how badly this crushed any self-confidence I may have had, he doubled down. He said if we go back into a relationship and pretend this never happened, then he would end up cheating on me. For him, it was open marriage or nothing. I chose nothing. Divorce papers were filed exactly 1 week later. He was very hurt and angry that I could jump right to divorce and kick him out of our bedroom so fast, but I refused to be a second choice or have to fight for his attention.